I couldn't go to work today. At the time of recording, it's been very funny. So at the time of recording, I am at home. I'm taking the night off. I have an issue with my ankle. So those of you who don't know, I have chronic pain. I take medication. I take allopurinol 400 to help with my medication. I have an issue with inflammation, so it's a part of my it's a whole thing. So when I was as young as like 16 or 19 years old, I noticed I had a problem with like inflammation, and it was chronic. So it would be inflammation in my knees, inflammation in my toes. That's gout arthritis. It'd be inflammation with my elbows. When I started working with my lab, it was a whole process of like finding out pain and finding out what kind of things are hurting me. I learned a long time ago that Korean barbecue was bad for me. And I thought for a moment there was a time in college to where I felt invincible. I felt like Korean barbecue wouldn't have hurt me. But the problem is with Korean barbecue, it is a problem because I suffer from gout arthritis. And let me pull up the medical name insure of gout. Essentially, gout arthritis is a form of arthritis characterized by severe pain, redness, and tenderness in the joints. And it gets worse because it's a common form of inflammation that is very painful, usually affects one joint at a time. And in some cases, there is a moment of it does cause tendinitis if you don't treat it correctly. So what I mean is that when I experience gout, I sometimes go to work with gout, and I would compensate. I would walk in certain ways. I would walk with or without a cane to help compensate for the pain, and that may cause a certain stress in muscles, and if I don't treat that accordingly, that'll cause an issue with inflammation in my ankle. In this case, for some reason, this is not a gout related injury, but this is a matter of just me trying to live. I'm just trying to work. I'm standing leg locked often to where I'm standing like almost 8 hours in the day. I sometimes stand almost like 10 hours for the majority of the workday, and so it just comes to a situation to where I'm just in pain. And it sucks because either I'm staying awake because of the pain or I'm staying awake because of caffeine, but then I don't end up taking care of myself, and then it ends up being an inflammation, and the inflammation may take a couple of days depending on what I'm doing and how hydrated I get. Speaking of which, I need to hydrate, and this cup, I'm better off drinking with a lid. So, oh Lord. So, honestly, one of the common foods, case in point, I was talking about gout arthritis, and essentially one of the big components of like catalysts is red meat, is high amounts of protein or bitter foods, and I can't have asparagus per se. I can't have red meat per se. I've recently been on and off gout arthritis for like months on end, and okay, sorry. There are times when symptoms get worse, known as flares, and times where there are no symptoms, known as remission. So I've been on remission for a long time, and this is just the start of it. So my left Achilles is inflamed. Last night I worked with it, and I got home safely. I rested. I took a cold shower to slow down the blood flow because cold therapy is key and a large component to most of this treatment. Sorry, hold on. And it's entirely an issue because I love food. I love working. But also it's a huge issue to where I'm not treating myself accordingly. And it just sucks because in this case, like I have been on remission from gout for a long time because I don't know. It's been because of my diet. I've been pretty good with my diet. I've been very good. But this is a situation where I caused a lot of my inflammations because I'm standing too long. So my knee would be inflamed, and I would be stuck in bed. There was a time to where I was stuck in bed the end of November last year and the beginning of the year in 2021 to where I could not get out of bed. My leg was stiff, it was straight, and there'd be times to where bending the joint would actually cause pain. I experienced swelling around my thigh, and it just was not a good feeling. I felt very crippled. The feeling of not getting out of the bed, it felt there was like a bit of isolation. It felt like I was useless. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't go to the restroom on my own accord. I had to get help, and the feeling of losing my leg, it felt like I lost my leg for a week and a half. And the training to get my health back was very severe because I say severe, but it's actually tedious because I had to go in a situation where I would limp from my bed to my roommates, use their bathtub to ice myself and just soak like a pickle. I had to go in a situation where I start off with a cold bath, and sometimes I'd be in shock because it's super cold. So there was a point to where you get super cold and then you shudder because you're trying to warm up and you're trying to adjust, and then I have to drain the tub and refill the tub with warm to hot water because with the therapy with the treatment, I had to get it's kind of like a start and pause. I had to get the blood flowing and the blood slowing down so it does work the system, and it was very fun. One of the treatments I had to do was essentially get a medication like I did with allopurinol. I've been definitely getting better at my weight loss and physical exercises because that does help with gout and helps prolong and keeps you under remission, which is, again, remission is it's in the time where there are no symptoms, and I have to keep my activities up. I need to make sure I strengthen myself. Let's look up chronic Achilles tendonitis. Essentially, what is Achilles tendonitis? It is an injury in the tendon which connects the calf to the heel. Common in runners and middle-aged. Hey, I'm only 30. I'm only 29, but like it's coming of age basically, who played sports and only on the weekends. Heel pain and tendonitis are key symptoms. Treatments usually involve at-home care, such as rest and pain relief. And it's not good. For some reason, it's just me standing under long periods of time, and it just caused my heel to stiffen and swell for a tiny bit. But I'm lucky enough that I was able to like catch it early during my shift. So it's so funny because when I was at work, it's so funny. I parked at work. I was fine. I walked up to work. I felt like a tickle, it was like a sensation in my Achilles, but I'm fine. But the more I was walking, the more I was working, the longer it just kind of like built up, and then inflammation, and it just kind of caught me off guard. Some of the treatments for this in this situation, which I've been working on, self-care. I have not done rice. Essentially, rice is a reference to resting the injury, icing it. I have compression. I need to put that on, and then elevation. And the most I did was really just sleeping and getting myself off my feet. So sitting is probably the best solution for me to keep my ankle rested. I remember when I was at work during my third and fourth break, I was massaging my Achilles, which helps out a lot. And I just need to simply just get the blood flowing. I need to like get myself off my feet. I have a massage gun, thanks to my coworker Anne. This was a gift during the wedding. Sorry. I have this Sharper Image massage gun. I do. Oh, okay. Let's see. What treatment do I need? I need this ball to massage my calf. So after I'm done recording the episode, I will massage it. And it's a very good tool. So I do. It's almost funny. When I was like standing up and working, I actually felt in a quick tension and tightness in my thigh. I don't know if anyone has a medical profession. Please let me know, because for some reason after Friday, I did a really killer workout on Friday with my thighs, to where I would do left lunge, right lunge, squats, and I tried to do that nonstop. Song, I would be listening to music when I do it. So music on, music off, music on. So during my second round, I was failing. I could barely do the lunges and squats during the second song. And right now I've been feeling the effects since then. So I've been going through a lot of pain already. And I thought my calf raises would have helped strengthen my legs. But I forget to massage my calves when I come home. So this is what I'm getting with my left leg. I did not massage. I did not take care of myself. And this is a reminder for everyone to take care of yourself, because feeling useless, feeling isolated are feelings you get when you can't get out of bed. When you don't have your own strength to just walk, to even as basic as going to the restroom, or as basic as trying to get around the house to feel normal. And I felt weak. I felt isolated because I couldn't just go to the restroom. I couldn't just go get a bowl of cereal. I couldn't just get food. I needed help. And there'd be times to where Joanna may be at work and she has to go to work because hey, the best thing I could do is just like stay in bed, right? But I don't need an at-home aid. I just feeling useless in bed was a struggle, was an emotion I struggled with, because I do know what it feels like to feel in pain, to feel like you can't do anything. I know what it feels like. It feels like you are kind of, it sucks. The feeling is just terrible. It's a terrible feeling to be in a place where you just can't get out of bed, and you have to ring the bell because you are young. You know that you can move. You think about, like, just a couple of days ago, you can just do these things of jumping and running and weightlifting. You remember that not too long ago you were just able to sprint, be a strong physical person, an able person going around, and then a few days later you are pulled the brakes. It feels like you're being punished for doing certain things, and in some cases that is the result. It's the result of you not taking care of yourself. It's not a punishment, but it's a cause. The effect of you not taking care of yourself with your muscles and your body is the moments of where your body fails you. The result is a moment of times to where you can't move on your own, and it feels like you're being punished, like you are benched. When I had my knee and like thigh inflamed, I felt very useless. I felt like I did nothing wrong. What did I do wrong to be bedridden? What did I do wrong to be in a situation where I got inflamed? I got punished. I was on my feet. I'm working. I'm doing honest work. I'm trying to love the people that are around me. I'm doing these things. I am trying to be a better person. I'm trying to be a good man. And I get punished by staying home. I get punished by staying in bed and just not moving out of my bed. I'm being punished because these things and those negative thoughts just kind of creep up on you in the moments of inflammation, in the moments of you being bedridden because you cannot just do anything. And it sucks. I had a little breakdown because when I had my thigh inflamed, there was a moment to where I felt like I was being punished. So to be candid, to be honest, when I moved out in 2015, 2014, it wasn't under the best situation. Essentially, I'm sorry if this episode about my chronic pain, or not going to work, turned into this. But essentially, my thought process when I was in pain was, I felt like I was being punished for moving out the way that I did, because I was not in a I always talk about as often as I try to talk good about my mom, there are times where I have to be honest. And being away from my mom, I know that I was in a place of abuse to where things happened. And so I thought the only way to move out was to get a couple friends to help me move to my new location, to my new home. And it was a whole process of me getting my banker's checks to withdraw my account, so my mom didn't have my account anymore. And there was a moment where I had to do these things when my mom was at work, and I felt there was a situation where I couldn't help not doing this. Otherwise, I felt like I was being trapped. And so I had to move out under unconventional means. And when I had myself bedridden, I felt like I was being punished for walking away from my family. I felt punished for walking away from my mom without her blessing of me moving out, of me being my own person. And I felt like I was being punished because I made her upset, because I did things. And I thought I probably wouldn't have been in this situation if I didn't move out the way that I did. And being under this kind of care of just taking care of your body, there's a lot of mental health that needs to come into this, because I came into a situation where I was blaming myself. I was blaming myself for being in pain. I was the reason why things happened. And the reality is, I couldn't control when this inflammation happened. I couldn't control when I was going to get hurt. I could have controlled how long I work. I can control how I work. I can control how much time I put into self-care. But the reality is, I can't control when the flare happens. I can't, even right now, my hands. I have chronic pain in my joints, and I can't snap my fingers anymore. I lost my ability to snap my fingers, and my knuckles are in a situation of carpal tunnel, to where I can't. The motion and the action of snapping my fingers hurts me. I can close my hands. I can rotate my wrists just fine. It is in a place where it's good enough to work on the computer, but I need to ice my hands and wrists almost once a week. And at some point I might have to ice them by when I come home every day. I'm scared for when that happens, and I just wish that I did better self-care. But honestly, again, this comes to where it is not my fault. I could never have predicted that the inflammation would have turned out this way. I couldn't have predicted that by going to work for this lab, I would get inflammation I was not aware of. I couldn't have known these things, and I have to trust myself that you did everything you could. So just remember, I'm dragging this out more than I should. But honestly, when you're in distress, when you're recovering from inflammation, you have to remember that this is not your fault. You couldn't have predicted when or how the inflammation happened. You couldn't have predicted how the injury occurred. You can do everything in your power to take care of yourself. Icing every day, stretching every day, exercising often, correct diet. You can do all of that, but you can't predict when the pain will happen because it just comes at you when you don't know. So you have to have a moment of forgiving yourself. You have to forgive yourself that you did everything you could, and I need to remember that too. A part of this video is honestly a reminder to myself that this is not your fault. You didn't plan for your Achilles. You didn't plan for your body to break down when you're working 50-hour weeks. You can't blame yourself for doing these extreme hours or extreme exercises and down the line you get hurt. You can't blame yourself for that. So you have to remind yourself that you have the allowance to forgive and to move forward. And I have to remember that. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching on YouTube or Facebook if you're watching this. If you don't like my face, please listen to the Spotify, listen to the podcast. I have social media. It's Wtphu. That is Wtphu. Wtphu on social media. That's YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Wtphu dude on TikTok. But that's who I am. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. And as always, my name's Tyler. I'm your friend. And I'll see you next time. Bye.